Thanks, Allie. And you're going to advance the slides for me?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. So yeah, just to give a quick introduction of the topic today, the basic idea is how can we grow these public engagement activities? And so I'll use the acronym public engagement or PE, but as Allie said, it can be also be called informal education or a variety of other terms. Maybe go to the next slide. And I think a lot of us know, of course, since we're here, we know the value of public engagement work. It's a fantastic way that we can share the joy and excitement of our discoveries and our research with the general public. It's also a great way that we can talk about the value and the return on investment. Oh, no, you can go keep it on the first slide, Allie. It's a great way that we can talk about the value and the return on investment for publicly funded research. It's a great way to let the world know about the physical world around them. And it also is a terrific way to recruit and train the next generation of researchers for us. So next slide. But I think not quite as many people are aware that the benefits of these engagement activities for a number of other stakeholders, and one is researchers. So for example, you're putting together one of these engagement activities, and you have to very clearly and concisely put together your research goals and your discoveries. That process of putting that concise descriptions together can really help when you write grants and write research opportunities, and also when you give presentations. So that can help you bring more money in for your home institution. Also, you can get questions at these activities, which can make you think a little bit outside of the box. And so that can also be very helpful. And then next slide. Say you bring in more advanced or more research money, well, your host institution will take a cut of that. And so they will certainly benefit from you doing a better job in your research. And also host institutions benefit from your relations with the local community. And also just your interactions, your department in your host institution can certainly benefit as well. And then finally, the next slide is the field of our research, physics, will benefit as a whole. If your research is doing better, and if you're getting more resources for your research, the field of physics is most likely benefiting as well. So all the stakeholders are benefiting from engagement work. So Claudia, if you could hit next. So the idea is let's find ways to grow this in a global way. And how can one go about doing that? Yeah, if you can click next. There's a lot of things that you can increase that would help out all of our engagement work. Of course, more funds and resources are really wonderful. Training, very important. Having a network like JNIPER is a great way to exchange ideas, to maybe expose role models, people who are doing great jobs about it. And also there's other organizations like FOPE, which has a Nicholson Award, which gives awards to people who have done, say, career-long efforts in engagement. So increasing any of these sort of generic ideas that I've listed here on the slide will help grow public engagement work. But there's an obstacle. And if you can go next, Claudia, a crucial limitation is that career advancement usually takes priority for all the practicing scientists over engagement work. And if you can hit next. So a lot of us have to make a really terrible choice on sometimes almost a daily or maybe more likely weekly basis. Do we take part in some engagement activity, or do we continue the normal work that we do, which advances our career? And that's a terrible choice to make, and we shouldn't have to make that choice. Maybe next slide. We've all heard of publish or perish, right? We've got to get the research out. We've got to meet our mission goals and complete the milestones for our projects, and having to balance that with all the benefits that I mentioned before about doing engagement work, but having only one part of that recognized for career advancement, namely the research part, and not the engagement work. So that means, given this bad choice, a lot of people are almost always choosing to do the research part and to leave the engagement work as an aside or as an extra or something they can manage when they have enough time. So next slide. The idea is to try to change this. So how can we sort of link public engagement work and career advancement. It's not such an easy thing to do, but one way we thought of starting was to try to document the value of public engagement work. So as part of the work on the APS Committee on Informing the Public, we had a year-long effort to try to go through and document this. And we put together a white paper, and it's posted on the archive, and it was finished up in December of 2021. And that is a document that's trying to spell out these benefits for all the stakeholders for public engagement, but also try to do this linking with career advancement. So next slide. Of course, we also wanted to get backing from the APS to do this. So in January 2022, we made a presentation to the APS panel on public affairs, which Nico briefly mentioned in the run-up to this meeting. And Nico is a member, I think you're a member of POPA, but he's been a liaison between CIP and POPA for these sort of discussions. So we made a discussion on that, or a presentation to POPA, which talked about a draft statement and a draft APS statement that would sort of formally link or give an endorsement to the idea of linking career advancement and public engagement work. And here is the text of the draft statement. It's a little bit long here. I don't think you need to read the whole thing, but I'll just make 2 points. Is that one, it says engagement work is important. And the second thing is that it should be linked with career advancement. And that's kind of the basis of these 2 points. So we gave a presentation to POPA, and we are hoping to get some we've gotten some feedback over the past year on their deliberations on this draft statement. We hope it will come out, but also we've done some other work as to try to raise awareness of the issue. So in January of this year, 2023, Don Lincoln and I had an op-ed article published on the APS back page that was about public engagement. It was called "To Save Science, Talk with the Public." It touched on a number of issues of how public engagement work can, for example, combat misinformation. And if any of you have been participants in any of the Science Trust sessions that Claudia and Allie and others have been putting together, those are fantastic sessions. I encourage you to go to those. But this op-ed that we wrote is trying to do this linking of engagement, work, and career advancement, but also talk about basically the values of public engagement, and also give some personal anecdotes of success stories that we've had with public engagement. So raising awareness, I think, is important. This is just one small effort. We hope to do a lot more in the near future. But I think the most important thing is the next slide, is that we need to find a way to move forward. So, what's in play right now is a draft statement to the APS, and hopefully we'll get eventually get a statement from the APS that really does this linking of career advancement and public engagement work. The idea is, if you can get host institutions to recognize engagement work, then more researchers will spend their time doing engagement work, and then you'll have all those accrued benefits that I'd mentioned in the very beginning. But I think the session today is really brainstorming. I have some ideas about it. Claudia and I had a brainstorming session about a week ago with Allie about it. And we'd really like to get your ideas about how we can make this a reality. Just going from, a white paper or a draft statement, and even if the statement comes out, that is not going to overnight convince institutions to change their policies. And one of the wonderful things I think about this whole effort here is that this is essentially a no-cost effort. This doesn't require lots of government funding. All it requires is your home institutions, whether it's a university or a national laboratory or other organization, or some industrial companies. All it does require for them is to change a policy that says they would consider your efforts in this area as part of the package to advance your career. So anyway, so that's the idea. That lays the groundwork, and I'll turn it back over to Allie to lead the discussion. But we're so happy that you've tuned in today, and that we really want to hear all your great ideas about how to make this into a reality.